What is evil and what is good? Where does opinion stop and truth begin? Well, it all starts with the beginning of time. And now, when I say time, I don't mean chronological time, but the actual physical time and space realm that we exist in. In order to truly grasp this concept, you have to separate where your mind ends with where existence begins. In other words, our brains are limited. We can only process thoughts based on the knowledge we already have in our heads. Whenever we use our brains, you see, to figure something out, our brains use the natural process of comparison. One form of comparison our brains use is for weighing out the pros and cons of a situation. Another form of comparison is the way we imagine our solution, compare it to our situation, and find the difference. Our brain's most obvious limitation, it's not pre-programmed with the knowledge of the universe. Our brains don't have the ability to contain that many dimensions of understanding anyway. But for most people, the human brain is one-dimensional. For others like myself, understanding goes beyond the limitations of what we think we know or what information we have pumped into our brains. For example, have you? Let me ask you this: have you ever wondered or ever asked yourself, where did God come from, or who created God? Well, that means that you suffer from a one-dimensional mind. You see, as humans, all we know is what we have seen through our own eyes in our time on this earth. And that is where our minds begin the process of comparison. The reason that you might struggle with where did God come from is because everything you have ever known has had a beginning and an end. Nothing in our physical realm is everlasting, so our brains cannot grasp the concept of an everlasting being. You see, our brains compare God to human for several reasons. First off, we are the most supreme being in our physical realm, so our brains don't know how to perceive God any other way. Secondly, humans have perceived God as human for centuries. God is depicted as human in works of art, not to mention the fact that many people talk to God via prayer. So does God exist? Well, absolutely. I know for a fact God exists. For me, it's impossible to deny. I mean, unless you believe in way beyond impossible odds, there is no denying that God exists. But if you don't believe in God, more than likely, it's because of several reasons. First off, you probably suffer from a one-dimensional mind, so you probably can't grasp the concept of an eternal God. Also, you probably were not introduced to religion properly, and/or you have had a bad experience, or you feel maybe if there was a God that He wouldn't let bad things happen to good people, and bad things happen to you, so on and so forth. Well, most people who don't believe in God are really just ignorant. And when I call somebody ignorant, I'm not just hurling insults. Ignorant just simply means they don't have the knowledge required to understand. Another reason that we know God exists is because if you look at our universe, which is designed perfectly for our planet to support life, and our planet itself, which has a super complex ecosystem that keeps cycling air, food, water. I mean, for the Big Bang Theory to be acceptable, there would have to be a series of events that happen against more than impossible odds. Only God can create something out of nothing. So for the Big Bang Theory to work, our universe would have had to have been created first. So there must still be a creator. Most people here in America just want to live the American dream. You know, the goals for today's people are to get a formal education, become homeowners, create offspring, and let's not forget, most important, to make money. Many of these people you will find attend religious sanctuaries, but even then, a lot of the times it's more about tradition and structure, as opposed to faith and true belief. Now, these people are nothing more than zombies that just feed on finance and earthly success. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with earthly success. Money, fame, and all that is acceptable to those